Hi, welcome to another video from Checkpoint Running. I'm Dylan. In case you guys haven't been following the channel, you may not know, but I've been training for the Transalpine Run coming up here next month in September. And I've been doing this since last December when I registered, and I wanted to share some of the statistics. I thought it would be interesting to look back over my data and figure I'd share it with you guys. So if you're not aware, Transalpine Run is a 250 kilometer staged race. So you run a little bit of it each day, sleep at night, wake up in the morning, run again. And it has 15,000 meters of vert. So, rough conversions, about 45,000 feet of vert, about 160 miles, something like that. And so how did I prepare? How do I train for something that's this intense, where I'm going to be waking up every day, running 20 to 30 miles and covering, 6,000 to 9,000 feet of vert? And how do I handle it at the elevation? Most of the races start at about 5,000 feet elevation, and then you'll run to, 8 to 10,000 feet elevation each day. I live in Central Maryland. I live basically at sea level, and it's pretty flat here. Not a whole lot of mountains. So how do I do that? Well, let's look at it, right? So you can see here, the number of activities that I did over the year. So I think this is helpful because it's important to see that there's a lot of strength training mixed in here, which is really important, and some cross training early on to help balance the load of the extra running that I was doing. So that is I think that's important to know, right? Running is not just running. There's a lot of other stuff in here. So we've got some cross training activities, and we've got some other gym activities that we're going to do. And I'll get into more details when we look at the calendar a little bit later. Given that it's running, though, let's go ahead and look at the running stats. I think, looking at some of these and understanding what I was doing over this time will be helpful. Let's start with the distance. So how far did I run each month? I think it's less than most people think, including myself. I thought I'd be running maybe, 400 miles in a month. And I actually peaked in July at just shy of 200. So, when I asked my running coach, so I use Vert.run for my running coaching. When I asked him why, I'm not running as much as I thought I should be, it's because of all those cross training and strength training that supplement the running. And so I got plenty of running in. I'll show you some of the health stats and metrics as well. Those improved greatly. But you'll see a general pattern here where, I think in, November, I didn't do a lot of running. I was coming off of a race at that time that I had done in October. So we were just kind of recovering, getting the holidays out of the way. Registered at the beginning of December. So we're going to start picking up the running and then continue to build the base, get a little bit of recovery in February, and then build some base, a little bit of recovery in June, peak in July, and then we're going to start tapering here in August. So obviously that's going to be less since Transalpine Run starts September 6th. So I need to be tapered and ready to go for that. And so that's the distance. The distance is good. I'm not as worried about the distance because the race is only 250 kilometers. But each day, I think it's manageable. The ascent, though, is what's had worried me. You'll see, in my kind of baseline running, I never got a lot of vert. Again, I live basically at sea level. The hills around here are generally less than 100 feet of vertical gain, just running on the roads and even the trails. There's no real mountains here. So I'm not getting a whole lot. The race I did in October gave me 6,000 of this 9,000. So if you're wondering why there's a little bump there, that's why. But you'll see, once I signed up for this and knew what I was getting into, that the stats quickly climb. So for a couple months there, we're basically doubling our vert every month as we build up. And then we had a little bit of a taper off, and then ultimately peaking in July with just shy of 35,000 feet for the month, which is really good. Obviously nowhere near the total for Transalpine Run, but it's enough. I'll be able to do the hills and get over them. And I continue that into August. And so where did I get this vert from? Well, Bob's Hill. I have a video on the channel about Bob's Hill, both up and down. I encourage you to go watch it. But Bob's Hill is the nearest steep mountain to me. It takes me about an hour to get there. And I can run about 1,000 feet of vert each time. So when we look at something like July, where I ran 35,000 feet of vert, that's essentially I ran Bob's Hill almost 35 times. So gives you a sense of just how much running of Bob's Hill I did. And that's pretty much true for all of these. We had a few races in here in May, and in June there were a couple of races, but it's really just Bob's Hill. That's all it was to get that. And so what has that done, right? So when we look at the hill score, you can see it's just only gone up, and that's expected, right? If I am going to be running mountains, my hill score should go up. And so I'm 80 out of 100, which is really good. I think that gives me more than enough to be able to climb the mountain. Other things have improved as well. So VO2 max, we can see pretty much flatlined down here at about 45, but through doing the climbs and the extra training, we've trended up, which is really nice. So I'm good to go for that. We can look at things like, heart rate, max heart rate. I don't know if I have a resting heart rate in here. Let's see if I can find a resting heart rate. It's probably in the health stats. Let's look over a year. Yeah. So looking over a year, my resting heart rate has pretty well stayed the same. Again, I was running before this, maybe a slight drop, although it's starting to come back up a little bit here in August. But, that stayed about the same, so that's great. Let's see what other stats might be of interest to you guys. Let's go back to the reports. For running. I don't think a whole lot else has changed. I think my average speed has probably gotten worse. Actually, it looks like it's stayed about the same. Maybe a slightly downward trend. It's starting to tick back up here at the end as I've gotten better at the mountain climbing. So I haven't really gotten faster, but I'm able to do the hills at the same speed. So I think that that's a good indication of how I'm doing. When we look at the race predictor, all of my times have gotten steadily better when we're talking about shorter distance races than what I'm planning to do. So I think it's just a testament to my training and my coach that all this stuff has just gotten better. All of my metrics across the board have gotten better. So what does that training look like? All right, what is a day-to-day? So let's get this zoomed out here so you're able to see the full calendar. And so let's go all the way back to December when I first signed up for this, right? So we look at December. I'm pretty sure I registered for the race on the 5th or the 6th, somewhere in there. I was already doing ultra running, so there is running in here. It's not like I was going into this cold or anything, but this will be the most challenging race I think I've done. And so we signed up. My coach worked with me to start a plan. And so we start doing things. And you may have remember from that early chart that we were doing a lot of strength early on. That's just to help build those muscles, especially the small muscles that you don't use when you run as much. So we're talking things like doing lateral and side-to-side motions, doing lots of planks and push-ups and core exercises, butt lifts and bridges and other things to build these muscles that sometimes can be weak if you're not properly exercising and strength training them. And so we do that. But generally each week is, short, easy run, longer, easy run, some kind of strength, sometimes mixed in there, obviously, and then a long run. And the long runs would typically be less than 3 hours for me at this point. And then moving ahead into January, we continue with the strength, keep building the strength. We actually go a little bit less on the long runs because we're going to start doing back-to-back long runs. So you'll see that on some of these, I have a Saturday and a Sunday run, and that will continue. So we'll keep doing more and more and more, but generally still the same thing. Easy, some sort of easy plus strength, perhaps, easy and strength again, another hour easy run, and then a long run. And now you can see we're starting to build up. So we got like 3:31, 4:45, right? Slowly building. And then we keep going throughout here. And this is where I think I started doing Bob's Hill. So we've got Frederick County Trail running here. Looks like I did 3 Bob's Hills in 4 hours, roughly. This was South Mountain that I did. So I did South Mountain maybe 3 times in 4 hours and got about 3,100 feet of vert. So continuing to do these climbs here, another one with a bunch of climbing, just trying to get as much vert as I can in on some of these things. Let's see, which one was this? Yeah, so still more vert, longer runs. This was the March 30th run. So this is the Thermont Loop. So if you want to go see those videos, I have those up on the channel, broken out into bits, and you can actually have the metrics on those, like the GPS statistics, so you can follow along. And continuing on, in May I had 2 events. So I had 50K in West Virginia. This was the Kanawha Trace 50K. So I have that race recap up. I encourage you to go watch that. That was a fun race. And then I did the AT through Maryland from Pennsylvania down to West Virginia with a friend just for fun. So this was a nice challenging run with plenty of vert along the way as well. In June, not a whole lot happening. This was the Catoctin 50K. Got a recap video of that on the channel as well. This was a very challenging race because it was very hot and I wasn't yet fully acclimated since it was only June. But again, you can see the theme. We're trying to get lots of vert, no matter what distance it is, to make sure that I'm able to climb the mountains at Transalpine Run. And so we just keep doing that over and over. July here is where I peaked on my vert and also on distance. So this was a really challenging month. You can see that almost every run is about an hour or more throughout the month. So you've got a 90-minute run, an hour run, a 6-hour run, a 90-minute run. I guess this was like a cutback, a 45-minute run, a 2-a-day with some strength and some running, and so on and so forth. Lots of start getting like some 3-a-days in here where we do some strength, even if it's only 15 minutes plus 2 running. So really starts to build up. And then this 7-hour run plus an hour of strength was really challenging. So I did, this is Cat Rock over here. I did that a couple times because the gate to Bob's Hill was closed. So I did this a few times while I waited for the sun to rise. And then I got in my car and I drove over here and then I did Bob's Hill. And so we got 8,000 feet that day over 7 hours, which is really good, considering I'm going up and down on all of these hills. And this generally represents probably about an average stage on Transalpine, where an average stage is probably going to be about 24 miles and about 8,000 feet of vert, and did an average pace of 18 minutes per mile, which if I can maintain that at Transalpine Run, I'll be under all the cutoffs without any issue. So I'm really happy with that metric. And then the other thing I started in July was sauna. So that's not shown because I don't wear my watch in the sauna. It's not recommended by Garmin. And so I started sauna this week of the 21st with just 5 minutes of sauna after my run. And then I would do like 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, and then try to build up. And so by the end of the month, I was up to doing 25 to 30 minutes per sauna after the workouts. And then we get into August. And so August, we are still keeping the intensity. We're doing a lot more strength work, and we're doing a lot more speed work as well. So we've got some pretty challenging speed works in here. For example, this one was doing 5K repeats, I believe. So I just went to this lake in the area and did my warm-up, and then I did 3 5K repeats with a 5-minute jogging cool down between each 5K. So that was really, really tough. But it helps me maintain the effort, even though my long runs are starting to come down in terms of time and effort. And so this was my last really long run, long run before my race at 5 hours. And we did Bob's Hill 6 times, which gave us 6,260 feet of vert, which is really good. And I had a good strong pace. So it's generally improved. We went from about an 18-minute pace down to about a 17-minute pace over the course of the last couple months, which is great. And then the last weeks here in the future are all just taper, and then my race will start on the 6th. So if you want to see Transalpine Run, you want to hear about it, be sure to subscribe so you get those notifications. I'm going to record Transalpine Run. I probably won't be posting videos from Europe while I'm running it, just because it'll be, I want to focus on the race. I don't want to focus on video editing and things like that. So be sure to subscribe, because I'll try to get those up soon after the race is over and let you know how it went, show you what it's like each day to get up and run in the beautiful Swiss Alps, and show you some of the really beautiful scenery. Anyway, that's it for my training overview. Just wanted to talk about it, show it, and I honestly wanted to look at some of these stats. I try not to look at the stats too often. I think it's not healthy, but it's really nice to see those trends over the year where everything improved. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.